within the organization able to settle that particular labor issues or workforce issues. And also we need to pay the right price. If we are paying benefits less than the market rate, then we are unable to retain the employees. If we paid more than the market rate, sometimes it will give, create some unnecessary issues to our organization. Therefore, we need to think about international workforce planning and start. First, I think you may have learned HRM planning in the domestic business or the Sri Lankan or local business. Basically, it is depending on supply and demand of the workforce or the employees, prospective employees. As I think I have mentioned that there are two things, labor force and workforce. Labor force means belongs to the country, particular country. Workforce belongs to particular organization. Then the recruitment of our workforce completely depending on labor market and labor force. Labor market and labor force. If we are unable to get right person from the labor market, then our organization is unable to achieve expected goals or outcome. For example, that is depending on many factors, unemployment ratio, education, the age structure of the country, or like that. There are many factors influence on our workforce recruitment. However, first, let me discuss about very briefly what does it mean by HRM planning. HRM planning has two sides. One side is supply, other side is demand. Demand comes from the organization. For example, let me say in that one of the section or one of the department of the organization asking to recruit 5 employees. That request sent into the HR, human resource manager. Then he need to be think how he can get these 5 employees to the organization. Sometimes he may be able to get those people internally, or sometimes we can get those people from external. However, organizations, yeah, still I did not share my slides and give some brief introduction about the HRM planning. And sometimes some organizations are using internal recruitment as well as external recruitment both. Okay. Then internal recruitment means you are going to be hire a person within the organization. That means in generally we can say you are given a promotion to the employees. But the lowest level employees, definitely you need to be hired from the outside, from the labor market or from the labor force. Okay. Then demand side is, supply side is that. Then demand sides, demand sides come from your organization. Supply side is coming from internally or externally. Now you need to hire a 5 employees, then you are checking as HR manager or as HR director, whatever, HR people. You are thinking how we can be get these 5 people. Okay, you have been decided to get 3 people internally, given them a promotion. Then 2 people you need to be get from outside. But you are able to get the only one person from the outside. Okay, that is depending on many factors, just before I mentioned that. Then there's a one person not enough, insufficient labor supply to your organization. You need the 5, but you are able to get only 4. Now you have to think Are you going to be get these people? Are you able to work or conducting your organizational work without that person, or is that person is most necessary? That means usually we are saying you have to evaluate risk of that particular employee. If you are unable to conduct your business smoothly without that particular person, definitely you need to think about how you can get that particular person. Sometimes you need to do job hunting, sorry, head hunting. That's means headhunting means you are getting that particular, you are trying to get a person to fill up that particular vacancy, the person who is working in other organizations. Headhunters are there in Sri Lanka also. If you need to hire some particular person, you can be asked those people to, we need to get that particular person. Then they will discuss with that particular person. But we have to pay some money to those headhunters. Then by in that way, you can be fill up your vacancy. Or sometimes you may be able to give a training within the organization to the existing employee, and after that particular training, you can be fill up that particular vacancies and etc. Okay, that's the uh, main functions of the HR plan. By developing good HRM planning, you may able to maintain very sufficient workforce within the organization. No, there is no excess labors, or there is no excess employees, and there is no shortage of the employees. That's the most important important aspects of the HRM plan. As well as you can decide who is going to be appointed to the vacancies in the future, for that future vacancies from your internal employees, or when that particular position is going to be vacant, then in advance you can be think which person we are going to be hired for, which method we are going to be hired for, and vacancy, etc. Therefore, sometimes within this classroom, there may be HR people, HR managers, or whatever. Therefore, HR person should have to have good knowledge, in advance good knowledge about the workforce movement. You should have to have good data. You should have to have a good data. You need to know when that particular position is going to be open, then how we are going to fill up that particular position. Every information you should have to have. Actually, these days you may have a computer-based HRM program to measure or calculate those vacancies or where those things in advance. Otherwise, no meaning of the HR managers. For example, that particular person retired, until his retirement, you didn't know that particular position is going to be vacant. Okay. Then now that particular person is not reporting to work, then you can understand there was a there is a vacancy. Your clerk also can be understood that the peon also can understand there is a vacancy because that person is not reported to work. Then what does meaning of the HR being a HR manager? No meaning. Therefore, in advance, you should have to have good data about workforce movement. When that particular person going to be get a promotion, when that particular person is going to be retired, how we are going to be fill up those positions or within the organization or by hiring people from externally. Some organizations have a general policy. They are hiring the people internally, other than the lowest layer of the employees. However, internally or externally, you need to be hired. You are able to hire people to fill up your vacancies. Okay. But however, today's staffing policies and practices become more complex, involved in a very mobile workforce, and there is some foreign locals, and also sometimes there may be our traditional subsidiaries, joint ventures, and partnerships, and there are many type of the international organizations. Then you need to think about how you are going to be hire people from which countries around the world. Doesn't it? That's a HR, international HR manager's role, but very difficult. It's a very difficult role because if your organization is having a 20 subsidiaries from 20 countries, you need to have a good knowledge about those countries' culture, workforce, sorry, labor force, education level, gender base, gender populations, everything you need to have a good knowledge. Then you can be easily develop a workforce plan for those organizations. But unfortunately, I think you also may understand in Sri Lanka, you would think about Sri Lanka, we don't have a good data about the labor forces. Lack of accurate data about the labor forces. Sri Lanka also, especially in the developing countries, that's a big issue. And we don't know what are the level of and quality of the education and literacy rates, what type of skill training we are providing, language skills. We don't know. We don't have that kind of data. Actually, without data, you never able to get a good decision. As always, I am emphasizing that by combining or processing two or more than two data sets, you may able to develop or create new information. Without any type of the data, you never able to do or understand anything. But actually, those data is data based on your experiences. If you don't know that particular how to interpret that particular data, then no meaning. But however, data should be there. Combining two or more than two data sets, you may able to develop good information. If you are able to collect more information, you may able to get more accurate decision. But however, there's some limitation. Sometimes I mentioned that particular thing, bounded rationality. We are unable to collect 100% information before we are going to be taken a decision. Therefore, bounded, limited rationality is there. We can be collected some information up to some level. Based on that, we need to be get our decision. It can be right or wrong because still there are some residual information. Based on that, residual means remaining information. Just let me say that I am collecting around 60% of the information, then 40% are left behind. That particular 40% can be influenced on our decision. But however, if we are able to collect the majority of the data, most probably we can be calculated that particular decision is more accurate. Like that. Data availability also problem. And also some population characteristics of that particular country. Some countries are having a shortage population or less population. And some countries may have a more population, young people, more young people. Unemployment is high. Let me ask one question. There is one particular country, that particular country is highly developed, highly developed. You are having your subsidiary in that country. You need to hire people from that, we can say host country employees or local people, or that you need to hire people from that particular country. What do you think? It is easy to recruit the people from that particular country. Let me say again, your organization is having a subsidiary in developed country. Okay. Now you need to hire employees from that particular country. Are you able to get or hire people very easily to your organization? Anyone can say?
Sir, in the developed countries, the peoples are more. They don't. They want some white collar jobs, and they don't want to be a workers. So so it is very difficult to find that
Yeah,
kind of a
that's a
skill.
good, yeah, yeah, a good try. Actually, develop means majority of the people are engaging in the work. Otherwise, they can't be developed. As you have mentioned, sometimes some of the employees in the developed people of the developed countries, they don't like to work. Therefore, you are having some challenges. You need to understand that. Population characteristics. And also, those countries, you can see diversity of the labor force and workforce. Diversity. Already we have discussed about the diversity in our organizational behavior, under the organizational behavior. Actually, today we can see those employees are available in everywhere. In Sri Lanka, also you can see some workers are coming from Thai, Thailand, some employees are coming from India. Sometimes you also need to be work with those people. But if you are migrated, or if you are going to be work in Melbourne, that's it's a highly diversity of the labor. Some people have come from Africa, some people come from America, Europe, Asia, China. Then you need to work with those people. You need to understand about those people, culture, etc. And also immigration also influence on your uh, your human resource planning, and also brain drain. That's a major concern about the today in our country, brain drain. The knowledgeable people are migrating to other countries because they don't have a right position, right opportunities in Sri Lanka. And sometimes you need to be export the jobs to other countries or outsource the jobs to the other countries to get do your organizational jobs, or your organizational or multinational or international human resource management related jobs. Okay. Therefore, what I need to emphasize that you need to be have a good knowledge about the other countries, about the culture, population, education, unemployment rate, everything. Then you can be develop good human resource plan for that particular subsidiary where is situated in that where is situated in that particular subsidiary or branch. However, uh, up to now we have discussed uh, only four approaches to hire people. You can be recalled ethnic approach, ne? Polycentric approach, ethnocentric approach, polycentric approach, and regional or regiocentric approach. These four types of the approaches we have discussed by only considering permanent employees to work in our subsidy. Permanent employees as a permanent employees to work in our subsidy. But there are some other ways, different types of international employees need to multinational organize. For example, you can be hire up people from that particular country. We call local hire or host country nationals, right? Who is born in that particular country, host country national. And also you can be hired a people as a domestic internationalist, domestic internationalist. That means that particular employee who is working in our parent country, but who never have any international experiences, or he never visit to those countries. Everything is he or she is conducting from his or her parent country through telephone, via teleconference, email, fax, or even sometimes mail, email, etc. Those type of the people we name as a domestic internationalists. And also sometimes you can see some of the employees in your organization who is living in one country, for example, let me say home country, but who that particular person is working in another country. But he is not going to be living in that particular country regularly, commuting across borders to perform his work from one country to another country. These type of the people we name as international commuters, international commuters. Okay. And some people are frequently visiting business trips. Then we can say frequent business trips people. Sometimes we are assigning people for a 1 week or 2 week period. Let me say technical expert. We are assigned to work 1 week in Indian subsidiary, short-term international assignments. Okay, there are many ways to get the people to work in our branches. Different ways are there. Sometimes we are sending the people not informing to our HRM department. That type of the assignees we call stealth, STELTH, stealth assignees. Like that. There are actually there are many internships also we can be used, immigrants also we can use, then also returnees means the who is working in the foreign country and return to that particular subsidiary country where is situated our subsidiary, then we are using that particular person, and also second generation expatriate. Second generation expatriate. That is my expatriate. Now settled in the foreign country. Now he or she is having kids who was born in that particular country. Then we can be hired those people as our expatriate, like that. Don't worry about those names, but you will to understand there are different ways to get the people as a long-term employees and short-term employees, or regular employees or temporary employees, like that. Okay. Then when you are preparing a human resource management plan, you able to consider this everything. You need to be considered this everything. Then you can be develop right plan to your organization. Okay. However, these days, our our HRM planning or recruitment and those kind of things, not much following traditional ways. We don't need to follow you would think traditionally we have advertised the vacancies on the newspaper, and then we are getting the application, then we are doing the selection and etc. But now our information about your organization through our mobile phone, and also we can be send an application or our interest to the organization by using internet or mobile phone and etc. Therefore, now gradually we are moving away from our traditional HRM to new global method, to global ways. Therefore, let me share one small video clip to understand that particular thing. Yeah. Uh, this particular video is discussing about the role of HR managers. Okay, can you see this one? Some person is sitting behind the desk or
Yes,
table.
yes, we can see.
Yeah.
Sir, the sound is not working, I think.
Sorry. Okay, let me stop. Sorry. I sound is not working. Give me 1 minute. Thank you, technician. I think now you can see that particular person.
In the beginning, the
Are
role
you
of your
able to hear
HR
the
team
voice?
was largely functional.
Sounds. Hello.
Yes, sir. Now we can hear.
It was centered around payroll, leave, policy making, and training. Recruitment generally meant putting an ad in the paper and hoping for the best, or hiring a recruiter. Then things changed. Technology and social media happened, and as a result, your role as the head of HR began to evolve. Being just a brand name company was no longer enough. Because of social media, everyone knows what it's like to work at your company. They can see who works there, if you have cool company perks, what your company culture is like, and even if your office has a slide. The employer brand was born. Now every employee is an ambassador. Their experiences are shared with a captive online audience, who in turn share it with their audiences. Today, the first step of recruitment doesn't start with a job application. It starts online. The very first thing a prospective job candidate does is run a search on you. Not just your company. It's also your LinkedIn profile that they are looking at. As the head of HR, you now also need to be a brand builder and a marketer. Recruitment began to change too. Technology opened up a whole new world of talent, of not just active job seekers, but hundreds upon thousands of qualified candidates who weren't actively looking. It was a game changer. You now had direct access to talent. You no longer had to wait for the right CV to cross your desk. Your employees were also increasingly becoming a valuable source of recruitment. As ambassadors for your company, they were best placed to identify the right people to join your team. But for them to do that efficiently, you needed to give them the right tools. A strong employer brand, a great company narrative, and an inspiring work environment. As the head of HR, you now also need to be a communications expert and motivator. Technology also opened up an overwhelming world of data to HR leaders. There was so much opportunity to utilize this data to improve the decision-making process, make better hires, and retain talent. All at your fingertips. You just had to make sense of it all. Because you now needed to be an analyst and an insights person. Today, the role of HR in an organization is no longer functional. It is transformational. As a head of HR, you are responsible for building your employer brand so that you attract the right talent. You deliver value for your company by understanding and using data-driven insights to improve efficiencies. You hire the right talent by connecting with the right people. You are a brand builder, an analyst, a communicator, a motivator, and a collaborator. And as your partners at LinkedIn, we are here to provide you with just the tools and insights you need to get the job done.
Actually, you can get employees through your LinkedIn and other social medias. Okay. Now let me discuss about recruitment and selection. I think I have discussed some of the PowerPoint presentation in the last. Okay. Then in first you can see expected intentional career cycle, expected intentional cycle. Okay, we are going to be hired a person from home country. That's fine. Actually, this is the very typical employment practices for especially managerial position, for the marketing position or technical position in our foreign subsidiaries. Basically, we are paying more attention to hire people from our home country or the parent country, or otherwise we are saying expatriate. Expatriate. Actually, we can name these people as international assignees. we are saying that international assignees. That means instead of expatriate, we can name these people by using expatriate assignees, because we are highly paying attention to get the people to work in our overseas branches who is having a good experiences. Okay, the people who is having a good experiences. Therefore, we are considering to get our expatriate. Then, as I have mentioned before, if you are going to be think about international recruitment functions, you better think how many applicants you need to get within the organization as the short term or as long term. Then you will think about that particular organization able to get those short-term and long-term people or application. And also you will think about, are we able to pay good compensation to those people? And also you will think about, do you need some different employees than what you are, than the people who is having in your organization. There's a different talented people, different skilled people. We need to hire a different skill or talented people. You better from your organization. Then you need to get those people from outside. And also you need to think about what type of competencies those prospective employees should have, and how we are going to be provide those competencies or skills to those people, and etc. There are two ways to get the people, as I have mentioned before, internally or externally. For example, you can be use different internal recruiting sources, as well as different external resources. For example, you can be asked someone to nominate a person to work in that particular subsidiary, or we can say recommendation from the potential supervisor, potential manager for the expert. That's the very easiest way. Sometimes we are saying that it's a selection process in the coffee break. And also, you can be post that particular vacancies in intranet or in intranet, not internet, intranet. Intranet means that particular network just only for internal people. Okay. And also you can be used international succession planning program. International succession planning program. What does it mean a succession planning program? Hmm? Succession planning means what? HRM.
Sir, succession plan mean if there are high identified job positions is there, sir. So if they are going to retire or transfer to a particular job, then to replace to that position, there should be a planning. So that called succession.
Yeah, actually, succession planning means you can be understand that particular job, especially for the top position, top management position. Your CEO is going to be retired in next year. Now you can be assigned next most suitable person to work with him. That's a successor. He's the successor of that particular position. That's a succession planning. You can be arrange some systems to develop next successor within the guidance or understudy of the existing CEO as a success. He become a success. Okay. Actually, we can use this type of the international succession planning programs to do to recruit the new CEO, new production manager for that particular subsidiary. Okay. Or you can use former or current expatriates to fill up that particular positions. And also you can provide the in-house global leadership programs to your employees, and there are many ways. And also you can get the people from outside. For example, you would think about if you are going to be hire people to your local business organization, domestic business organization from outside, what are the available methods? You need to hire employees for your organization domestically or locally. What are the available methods you can be used to attract your prospective employees? Sorry, oh, newspaper advertising. Good. But only that?
Sir, social media we can use.
Yeah,
We
social
can
media. Yeah, exactly. What are the other things?
job hunters we can use.
Yeah, job hunters also can use. Yeah. What are the other things? There are many ways. You can be TV, you can be radio, you can be newspaper, you can be magazine, you can be used some posters or banners. There are many ways within within the uh, within this country. Like that, actually, you can get the people to work in your international subsidiary by using different methods. For example, employee referrals. This particular method you can be used to hire domestic people too. Employee referral. What does mean by employee referrals? That's you are getting some recommendation about someone from current employee, currently who is working in your organization. And also, when you are discussing this similar method to international human resource management, you can get the recommendation from the current employees or expatriates. Both ways, we can be used to get the person. Actually, research found that when you are hired the person by using this employee referrals, he is going to be or he or she is providing more providing more outcomes to your organization. Or it's the most advantageous way to hire a person to your organization. Why? Employee referrals is the most important method or most effective way to hire people. Why?
Because sir, rec re person he's recommending is recommendation is very valid. So
Yeah,
the particular organization that they will trust on the person because
yeah,
they
yeah.
may be knowing each other, and so based on trust don't want to get a separate interview and other process
Yeah,
going to
yeah. As Mr. Chanaka said, yeah. For example, if Mr. Chanaka is going to introduce one person to his organization, definitely is introducing very good person, very right person to the organization, doesn't it? And on the other hand, once we have introduced that person to that our organization, he or she also having some kind of the responsibility to protect your good name. Therefore, he or she also trying to do his or her best to the organization. In both way, we can see it's going to be match. They are both parties are trying to do good things. Therefore, some researchers are found that the most effective recruitment method is this kind of the employees referrals. And also, other than these employees referral, you can be use job fairs, company internet sites, or you can use executive search by using headhunters, and etc. And also you can be use professional association or international magazines, and also you can be use sometimes global leadership programs conducting by the universities, international universities and college, and etc. There are many ways to get the people. Okay. Uh, However, home country assignment means you are getting the person from home country as an international assignment. Okay. That is we call recruit. Recruit. Actually, this recruitment depending on how many applications you are able to collect to do the good selection. If you are able to get the more application, definitely you may able to internally or externally. If you are able to collect more application, then you are able to do a good selection. Good choice. You are having a good choice. Good alternatives are there. From those alternatives, you need to be choose one person or two person. Then you need to be do the selection process. Selection process means what? You are trying to understand the details or the informations given by that particular employee, particular manager is valid. How you are going to be measure that validity? By conducting interviews or conducting practical tests or conducting some aptitude tests. There are different or conducting background tests. That's the in our local hiring process or domestic hiring process. But in the selection, for the multinational organization also, sometimes we need to follow the same process. But uh, however, that is depending on different factors. For example, let me say in this way, you have decided to hire a person from internal. Internal means now currently he is working in your organization. Then you have decided to assign that particular person to work in the subsidiary or in subsidiary. But however, that is depending the some uh, acceptance of that particular international career is depending on many factors. Doesn't it? For example, the Mr. Chamara was got that particular work from the from her from his organization. But however, acceptance of that particular or reception of that particular positions depending on many factors based on the person. Then based on the cross-cultural competency, or based on your previous international experiences, based on your age, gender, family status. I know one particular person who got two times uh, opportunities to work in foreign embassies, but he refused because he look after his father and mother as well as his wife's father and mother. Therefore, he refused. Then family state, marital state, education, and also destination of the country. Some people would like to work in India and they follow like that than working in other countries. Okay. And also opportunities for career support, company culture, and also you are thinking about your career and repatriation plan. Repatriation uh, means once you have finished that particular stipulated period, you need to return to your home country. And length of the foreign assignment, how many years you are going to be work, you are you need to be work in foreign country, overseas healthcare plan, income tax policies, host country housing assistance, spouse job assistance. Those, for example, some of the international organizations are providing spouse job opportunities. I know majority of the international organization, they don't like to hire husband and wife to their own organization simultaneously. But however, they are providing that particular spouse job assistance by negotiating with the other multinational organization. In this way, they can, you would think about your organization is A, there's some other multinational organization B, then you are discussing with the B organization. Okay, you will provide one of the spouses of our employee. Then instead of to set up that particular help, or we can say to set up that particular help, we are going to be hired your employees spouse to work in our organization. It's like an exchange work working opportunities between A and B organizations. Is spouse of job assistance, and also spouse willingness to travel overseas, and child education allowances, those kind of many things influence on the acceptance of that particular position. When that particular selected international assignees or expatriates accepted those things, that particular position, then you should have to give them orientation. Orientation about that foreign country as well. Okay, then actually I think I have discussed these things previously, but however, uh, uh, to recall what we have discussed in last week, I just uh, went through those slides. And also expected success is depending on many factors, expected or international assignees. You can be used these two words to identify the person or worker who have been assigned to work in foreign subsidy, expatriate or international assigned. Actually, expatriate success depending on technical competencies on the job, personal traits or relational ability, environmental variables, family situation. Just before I mentioned these factors separately, for example, personality, post-cultural competencies, prior international experience, age, and etc. Okay, like then expected adjustment process. Depending on four factors, self-oriented dimension, how self-oriented dimension means how how what is the level of your self-confidence to adjust or adapt to that particular context. Others oriented aspects. Are you able to develop the relationship with the people who is working in your organization in that particular country or the people who is living in that country? Then your perceptual ability. Understand why foreigners behave that particular way. And cultural toughness. Are you able to tolerate that particular cultural toughness like that? Actually, the successfulness of international assignees depending on these factors, job factors. What are the job factors? As we have mentioned just before, technical skills. Definitely, when you are going to be assign a person from your home country, this is the most important aspect, technical aspects. Technical aspects means is that person is able to do that particular assigning job related tasks, duties, and responsibilities. Those are the technical skills. Acquaintance with host country and headquarters operation, managerial skills. Already you have learned these managerial skills by I think based on the Robert Cards, managerial skills things, technical, human, and conceptual skills, etc. Administrative competence. This is also more administrative ability. Actually, if you learn about the Dave Ulrich, the HRM managers skills or talent, definitely you may able to recall this one. Dave Ulrich mentioned that some not every HR manager uh, need to concern about the long-term uh, goals as well as short-term goals of the organization. And also he mentioned that you will think about the people aspects as well as organizational goals aspects. Now you can see there are 4 dimensions: long term or the future, or current or the short term, and the people and goals of the organization, or expected goals of the organization. Then he put this future and current or the long term or the short term aspect to the vertical line. Uh, vertical top of the vertical line, he named that the future or the long term expectation. The below of that particular vertical line, put he named as a short term or current expectation. Then he used the vertical horizontal line. Then the right side of the horizontal line, he named that the end of the horizontal line, he named as the people, and the left side, in the end of the horizontal line of the left side, he named as the organizational goals. So then you can be, I think you can be image what I have mentioned now. Then he introduced some of the roles need to be played by HR managers. He mentioned that the people and future, therefore you need to be a strategic expert, a strategic expert. Then people and the short term expectation. Then you need to be a good human expert, human expert. You need to be understand about everything of the people. Then you need to be achieved the short-term expectation, uh, sorry, your organizational goals, short-term goals by using the people, then you need to be a very good administrative person. What I need to say that to be a good HR manager, you should have to have administrative competencies and also relational dimensions. Relational dimensions. Tolerance for ambiguity. Ambiguity and uncertainty is two things. Uncertainty means you don't know what will happen in the future. Ambiguity, there are more information on that particular picture or particular thing. Therefore, you can't be get quickly what does mean it. For example, in this particular picture, also you can see one person is using saxophone, and also you can be see the lady's face also here. That's that type of things. Okay. Uh, ambiguity. Uncertain is you don't have any type of the information. And also behavioral flexibility. If you are having a very rigid behavioral practices, or you are having a more fixed policy adapt person, then it is very difficult to adapt or adjust to that particular country. Non-judgmental. So this is most thing. Don't judge the other's culture. Don't judge others' behavior. Then you can be easily adapt or adjust to that particular country. Cultural empathy and low enthusiasm. Cultural empathy. You will try to understand that particular culture. Don't think that my culture is the number one. My culture is the superior. These cultures are very low or whatever. Don't think that. And also interpersonal. You need to be developed. How you can be make good relationship with the other people. And also belief in the mission, congruence with career path, there's a congruence with matching with your career path, interest in overseas experience, interest in specific cross-country culture, willingness to acquire new patterns of behavior and attitudes, then easily you can be adapt or adjust to that particular country. That's the thing. Family situation. Willingness to spouse to live abroad, adaptive and supportive spouse, stable marriage. Adaptive and supportive spouse. Actually, one of the Japanese expatriates assigned to work in Australia. Then he migrated with the wife and 2 kids. Wife doesn't know any English. Then they worked around 3 years. Then after that, Japanese organization extended the expatriate uh, the term another 2 years. That means he need to work 5 years. What was happened? This particular Japanese wife got into the car with 2 kids and drove that vehicle to the sea, into the sea. Therefore, how much support your spouse, husband or wife, to your international career also most, and also a stable marriage, that also most. Actually, these things are not much important in the Europe or Western countries, but Asian countries, still we are thinking about these things, stable marriage. Language skills, cross-country language, non-verbal communication, those kind of things also most important. Especially you need to be concerned about your non-verbal communication. You can be use your fingers, your head, and etc. to communicate with the people, but those non-verbal or body languages given different meanings in those countries. Therefore, you get to learn. If you are going to be use your body language in other countries, please be considered. Is that particular body language is very appropriate to that particular country, particular country. Mm. Then for language skills also most important. In here, you can see most important uh, job requirement factors when we are going to be hire people to work in foreign in as an international assignees, technical requirement, managerial responsibilities, cultural requirement, interaction with local nationals and local communities. These are the most. And also you have to pay attention about the details of where you are going to be work, which country you are going to be assigned work, general morals and values, political, legal, socio-economic situation, social institution, standard of living, fiscal level, environment. Based on these, considering these two types of factors, you need to be evaluate of candidates' suitability to work over there. Availability, job abilities, personality, characteristic, career status, desire for assignment, family situation, gender, language, skill, prior experience. And then if that particular assignee accepted the position, then you will to prepare the candidate and family to take that particular assignment, pre-assignment sites. That means you can be sent that your employee, the kids or the spouse of the employee to visit that particular country, very short period, 1 week, 2 weeks. Or you can be give job country orientation, cultural orientation, language trade, compensation, benefit, taxes, housing council, counseling by repatriation. Repatriation means the person who have been worked in that particular country but already returned to your home country, then you can be asked that particular person to do some brief about that particular country and work to that next expatriate, next international assignments, and also local sponsors. Then you will think about how many years you are going to be assigned that particular person to work over there. After that particular period, he or she need to be returned. We call repatriation. Again, you need to be give some support to adjust to home country of that particular employee. Then you will provide some career counseling, cultural schools. Sometimes you need to be provide the school facilities. Sometimes you need to provide the spouse job opportunities in your home country and extra. Therefore, you need to understand these are the most. In here, you can see our traditional ways to get internal assignees, the profile of the expected or profile of the our international assignees based on the research. Most of the expatriates they are getting from parent country nation, PCS. Some expatriates are coming from host country national or third country nationals. According to the gender, majority of the expatriates coming from male, 82%. Age range around 30 to 49. Marital state married 65%. Accompanied by spouse 86%. Duration 1 to 3 years. Location EU, European Union. Majority of the people 35%. The basic reason to hire this expatriate is pillar position. Primary reason, pillar position. There may be vacancy, then we are assigning this expatriate to work over there. This from this 100 expatriates, only 30% expatriates are having previous international experiences. That means majority of the expatriates doesn't have previous experience or international experience. That means 70% of the total employees. Actually, you can get some general idea about international assignees, nature of the international assignees by reading these data. Actually, even we have assigned to work in that particular expatriate to work that particular expatriate in foreign subsidiary. Sometimes he or she may be unable to achieve our expected goals. Or sometimes they may be returned to their home country before completing their stipulated years. So assigning years. For example, we have been assigned a person to work 3 years period, but he or she may be returned after 1 month or 1 year or whatever. Then we are going to be considered that particular as expected particular thing as expected pay. Expected pay. What does mean by expected failure? You can see in the expected failure is the premature return of an expected. A return home before the period of assignment is completed. We have been assigned that particular person to work 3 years, but he or she returned after 1 month. That's a premature return, not mature. Mature return means he or she worked that particular stipulated period, 3 years. But sometimes, even he worked that particular assigned period, we are unable to get expected performance from particular expatriate. That is also expatriate failure or non-performance expected. Non-performed expected. Did you understand that? When we are discussing about the expected failure, there are 2 types of the expected failure. One type of the expected failure is he returned or that particular expatriate returned to home country before completing his or her assignment period. We have been assigned for a 3 years period, but he returned after 1 month. That is an expected period. And also, there's another type of the expected period. He or she worked all 3 years over there, but he or she didn't able to provide expected outcome or performance. to the organization. That also failure. This type of the failures caused by selection error. Selection. That means our selection are not right. And also, there can be some kind of the expected failure because that particular person or international assignees didn't able to settle over there properly. He or she didn't able to match, didn't adjust or adapt to that particular country. That means poorly adjust to that country. But still, we didn't recall him to our country. That also sometimes the expected. Therefore, we can see, according to Foster, there are two types of the uh, definition. Or we can say, or the broader definition about the expected failure. Expected failure, EF, underperformance and retention upon completion of the assignment. Underperformance, that's been not providing our expected performance, but he or she's worked all 3 years over there. Then Foster noted that if we accept that the broader definition of employee failures is warranted, then it can be argued that the actual figure of those who are failing on international assignments could be somewhere between 8 and 28% of UK expatriates and their parents. If we consider this particular broader definition means the person who is working all that particular assignment period, but with the underperformance. Then this particular failure rate is going between 8 to 28% for the UK expectations. I think you may be able to understand what is mean by expected failure. Expected failure means that particular international assignees didn't able to give our expected outcome, based on two reasons. One thing, he returned to home country before completing his or her assignment period. We call premature. Other one is he or she worked all that particular assigned period, but his or her performance are very low than our expected level. That is also expected pay. When we consider this particular broader definition as expected failure, according to this Foster, he mentioned that failure ratio is going somewhere between 8 to 28%. And also conducting research in 2002 by using 300 multinationals, 46% North America, 28% Europe, and 9% of UK. The 56% of the organization did not know the return rate of the expert. 56% of the organization did not, out of the 100, 56 of the organization did not know the return rate of the expert. How many expatriates returned to home? They didn't know. Another research found that 39% of the respondents did not have the figures on expatriate return. That means what? We don't know how many expatriates return to our home country. But as a HR manager, you need to be paid your attention on repatriation too. Because you have been assigned a person to work in 3 years or 5 years. Then when he returned to home country, the home country can be changed, environment can be changed. Sometimes that particular expected him or herself can be changed. Then they need to adapt to their own home country. Then you need to, as a HR manager, you need to be provided those support facilities to them. And also they may have some kind of the career uncertainties because in the subsidiary, he or she works as a chief executive officer, but now he returned to home country. Now he or she can't be work as a CEO. Now you need to be assign him than the other position, than the CEO position. Then that type of things you need to be considered. Before he or she return to home, you will talk with them, you will do negotiation with those people. Then you can be give some basic information to your repatriate employee. And also based on the research, international assignments are paid due to the early return of the expected, premature return, 72%. Unmet business objectives, 71%. They work over there, they didn't able to give the expected outcome. They didn't achieve the expected objectives of the organization. Problem at assignment location. Some people are having some issues about where they have been assigned. Unmet career development objectives. These are the main reason for expected non-performance. Then you can early return of the expected. That means they are not properly matching to that particular culture, particular country. Therefore, you can see out of the 100, 72 return to home country before completing their assignment. 72. 71% who work over there, but they didn't able to achieve expected objectives from their job roles or positions. The issue is this: the expected failure increased cost of the organization. Cost of the organization. For example, airfare. Your organization need to be paid airfares. That is based on the level of position. See, if you have been assigned a person as a CEO, definitely he or she is going to use the business class or more than that. And also relocation expenses, salary, training costs. These are the things. However, these things can be varied according to level of position, country of destination, exchange rate, possibility of replacement, and therefore, this expected, you will understand, expected failure increase your organization cost. There are many ways to increase the cost. There are paid, sometimes relocation expenses, you need to be paid some money to move from Sri Lanka to that particular subsidy. And you have paid more salary in over there than local context. And also you have been provided training to spouse, kids, and that particular expected. That also cost. Not only that, again, when you are going to be assigned a person to work over there, again, you need to be bear these things. You need to pay the airfare. You need to be used relocation expenses. You should have to be paid more salaries to them. And also you need to be provided training to them. Listen it. And not only that, those are the direct costs. Some indirect costs also there. Human relations, loss of market share, difficulties with host government officials, possible effect on local staff. Human relations. You have been assigned a person to work over there, he or she work only 1 year or 2 year period at that between that particular period he has been developed some relationship with that particular foreign people or the nature, sorry, the people who is living in that particular country. Now he returned to home country. Again, that new person need to be developed that relationship. Start to develop the relationship over there. Sometimes loss of market share. Badly, that particular return, premature return, can be affected your business performance. For example, actually, I think you all are aware about the organizational life cycle, starting, developing, maturing, and declining. That's very similar to our life cycle. That's very similar to our life cycle of the goods. You have been started to develop your market share over there. Now that particular marketing expert, person or marketing manager return to your home country, definitely that will influence on your market share in that uh, particular country. Difficulties with host government offices. Definitely we need to get the visa. Not only visa, sometimes we need to get the working permit, work permit over there. And also possible effect on locals. When continuously this is happen, premature return happen in your subsidiary, definitely that will influence on the employee's morale and productivity of that particular subsidiary. Therefore, always you need to be select right person to right job at the right time by paying right price. Therefore, we need to be consider about the employees recruitment as okay. Then in here you can see some definition of expected failure, used in terms of early return, harm, or termination, but could also be defined in terms of poor quality of performance in foreign assignment. I think you may be able to understand this. Okay, that's in generally we define expected failure as early return home or premature return of the expected or termination, whatever. But according to this particular book, expected failure can be defined by using different factors, considering different factors. Poor quality of performance in foreign assignment. Employees not fully utilized during assignment. Actually, he has been given good performance in Sri Lanka, but over there, he has given less performance. Personal dissatisfaction with experience of the expected of family. Lack of adjustment to local conditions. They are not properly matching or adapted to the local context. No acceptance by local nationals. Local nationals rejected these people, this particular manager or particular manager's spouse or particular manager's kids. Damage to overseas business relations. Not recognizing or missing overseas business opportunities. Inability to identify and or train a local success. Leave soon after repatriation. This is also expected period. Let me explain this one. You have been assigned to for a 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years period. Then he returned to Sri Lanka or returned to home. That is repatriation. But once he returned to home country, then he resigned from the job and leave the organization. That is also expected pay. That also expected. Because we are losing a good person. We are losing. Because when you are having local experiences plus foreign exposure, then in the future you can be a good leader, good boss of your organization. but we are going to be based on this particular incidents that the quickly resign from the job and leave the country, not use foreign experiences in assignment after repatriation. For example, we have been assigned a person to work in foreign subsidiary, then he or she worked 3 or 5 years. Definitely he or she get good experiences over there, but he or she didn't use those experiences in Sri Lankan context or the home country. No meaning. Because we are trying to develop our employees by assigning to work in by assigning them as a expatriate. That means he or she is having a local experience to develop his or her career. We have been assigned his or her to work in foreign subsidiary. She or he got good experience over there, but they returned to home country, but they didn't use those things in here to develop our business. That is also expected pay. That is, you can see this is happening among majority of the government officers, executive. They are getting scholarship, they are getting foreign travels, they can be learn many things. They are going to be learn, for example, in Japan, they are getting scholarship from the JICA. They are staying, they are more sometimes 3 months, 6 months, 1 month, 1 year, whatever. But once they have returned, they didn't use those experience to develop this country. But actually, we can't say that it's 100% that is fault of that particular government officer. So sometimes if we don't provide the good opportunities to use those experiences in Sri Lankan context, then how they can be applied those things. For example, you have been assigned a person to work in USA subsidiary, where there are good sophisticated machines, but he returned to Sri Lanka, but we don't have that kind of the machines. Then how he or she can be applied that knowledge in Sri Lanka? Those kind of issues also there. But however, when we are discussing the expected failure, that expected failure just not only depending on one factor, like early return of home or termination. These factors also we can be considered as expected failure. Poor quality of performance in foreign assignment, employee not fully utilized during assignment, personal dissatisfaction with experiences of the expatriate or family, lack of adjustment to local conditions, and etc. However, these things can be varied according to the how many years we have been assigned to work that particular length of assignment, or degree of concern about repatriation. Overemphasizes in selection on technical competency to disregard of other necessary attributes. Degree of training for overseas assignment. Degree of support while on overseas assignment. These factors also influence on expected failure, length of assignment. We have been assigned, but originally we have been assigned that particular person for a 3 years period, but we have extended his service period another 3 years for another 3 years. Then he or she not didn't accept that one. But now they are unable to do anything. Unwillingly they can be accepted that particular extension. Like that. Or they may be willingly accepted 1 year period than the 2 years period to work in foreign subsidy. Like this. Degree of concern about repatriation. Just before that particular data shows that majority of the organization just didn't know how many expatriates return to home. That means they don't have any concern about the repatriation. That also influence. You return to home, but you didn't have any position to work in Sri Lanka. They didn't respect your experiences. They don't have any facilities to use your exposure in here, experiences in here. Then you are going to be resigned because you can you think to give a resignation letter because you may able to get a good position in somewhere. Therefore, as a chairman, you need to be paid good attention about the repatriation of your foreign assignees. And also sometimes we are given more attention on the technical aspects than the technical skills, than the cultural skills or human skills. When we are following selection process of our international assignments. Not only technical competence is most important. But however, some other factors also we need to develop of our international assignment. We should have to be provided that particular opportunities to our international assignments. Then training for overseas assignment, pre-departure training or post-departure training of arrival after arrival to that particular country. Again, we need to be provided training like that. Degree of support while on overseas. Some organizations have completely forget about that particular employee once he or she assigned to foreign subsidy. They are not support. They are not given enough support to him to adjust or adapt to that particular fund. Then they are not going to be happy about it. That also goes to expected pay. What are the reasons for expected pay? Based on these particular sources, the number one is inability of spouse, partner to adjust to spouse, partner dissatisfaction. Spouse, you get to recall the data. Majority of the expectations are coming from male, gender based. When we have considered gender based, 65% expectations comes from male category. That means spouse means the wife. Those 65%. Spouse means wife. Inability of spouse, partner to adjust or spouse or partner dissatisfaction. Second reason is inability of expatriate to adjust. Inability to expatriate to adjust. Therefore, when you, as a international human resource manager, when you are going to be assigned a person to work in foreign subsidiary, you get to give a provide, you get concern about the spouse and kids issues, as well as expected ability to adjust that particular fund, and also other family-related problems. Mistake in candidate expected selection or just does not meet expectation. That means he or she didn't able to satisfy our expected performance level. Expected personality or lack of emotional maturity. This is also most important. If you are able to tolerate those cultural things and any other issues or other problems over there, definitely it goes to expected pay. Expected inability to cope with larger responsibilities of overseas work, expected lack of technical competencies, expected lack of motivation to work overseas, dissatisfaction with quality of life in foreign assignment, dissatisfaction with compensation and benefits, inadequate cultural and language preparation, inadequate support for international assignees and family while on overseas. These are the reasons. We can't be exactly specific one reason for the expectation. There are more reasons based on this particular research. research. Okay. But what you need to learn, I don't know how many HR managers are here, but sometimes in the future you need to be, there may be opportunity to you all to work as an international HR manager. At that time, you have to think. Expected failure is increasing your organizational cost. It will reduce your organizational performance. It costs to break human relationship over there. It will reduce the productivity of your organization. It will increase some your financial cost of the organization. Why? Based on this expected pay. These are the reason of the expected pay. Then you need to be think before you are assigning the person to work over there. You need to address these issues very effectively. Otherwise, no meaning. Is it okay? Do you have any issues up to now? Okay. Then these are the actually we have mentioned that if there's a our international assignees is unable to give our expected performance, that person can be considered as a expected that thing or that particular issue can be considered as expected pay. What are the factors influence on our expected performance? Inability to adjust to foreign culture, length of assignment, willingness to move, work-related factors, and psychological contract. These factors influence on performance. Based on the performance, your intention to stay or leave is dependent. Okay. You can be able to think about yourself. In the future, you may have a chance to get the foreign assignment. If you are unable to adjust to foreign culture, definitely that will reduce your performance. But you expected to work only 3 years or 2 years, but they are assigning you to work more than that, then that also influenced your performance. You didn't have any willingness to move out from Sri Lanka or the home country, but they forced you to go and work over there. That also influenced on your performance. Some work-related factors. You didn't have enough resources. You didn't have a get good support from your subordinates. That also influenced on psychological contract. Psychological contract means you need to be bind. I think you already learned this one. You need to be make a bond with the other people through your mind. Psychological. Then you can be, if you had a good bond through your mind with other people, you may able to give the good performance to the organizations. Based on that, you are going to be decide, am I going to be live here or live here? Stay or leave? Live or leave? As we have mentioned, let me summarize. What are the reasons for early returns or premature return? Family concern, accepted new position in the company, completed assignment early, cultural adjustment challenges, security concerns, and career concerns. However, another research conducted by the Tang, he mentioned that inability to adjust the foreign culture of the expatriates. Number one reason for the US workers are inability of the spouse to adjust. But that factor become number 5 for the Japanese expatriates. Why? Majority of the Japanese expatriates are not taking their wife or kids to foreign countries. they are going alone. But US or Europe people, when they are moving out from their home country, definitely they will take with them wife and kids. Research over the past 20 years has shown a consistent ranking of inability of the spouse, partner, family is a primary cause of early then you can understand the number one reason of the expected failure is inability of spouse, partners, or family. Then you need to be address this particular issue if you are going to be assigned any international assignees to work over in your subsidiaries. Then sometimes